Good evening and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th round of our career mode. And we're getting towards the sharp end. As you can see, default setup, I've just put it in to the preset of higher top speed, as it does help a lot around Spa. Still on a default setup though, but into qualifying, turn 1, bit of a lockup, but we are able to make the apex regardless, and it's a decent run nonetheless. Now get ready for a Rouge. Flat out all the way through in 8th gear. Not even a hint of a lift as you try to get the best of runs through. Line of least resistance and all of that. Hoo-ha. Open up the DRS as we make our way down the Camel's Fray and be ready to spot your braking point. Going to do it very late. You can do it up about 80-70 meters. We end up missing the apex of the right-hander, but not of the left-handers. We pull it back over to the left and get the best of runs through the right as we now make our way down the hill. Try to take a nicer double apex. We take the first, pull it back over for the second. Now get right up onto this curb, but drop it down to fourth. Take as much curb as possible through the no-named corner. And now make your way down the hill into Puom. Quick drop down into 6th, stay off the curb and back up into 7th gear as you maximize your exit speed. And now coming into, I believe this is called campers. Use as much of the curb as possible. We drop it down to 4th. You can take it in 5th. It's just a bit of a preference on our parts as we now drop it into 4th gear, into Stavilo. Back on the power. Use as much of that exit curb as you can. And now we make our way back up the hill, shifting up through the gears. And now get ready for Blanchimont. Still flat and just take it nice and smooth. Bit of turning and job is good. Just get ready for the final corner. The bus stop chicane. Break at 100 meter boards. Drop it all the way down to 2nd for the first part. And then down into 1st for the 2nd part. Short shift up through the gears. And now you maximize those revs and across the line to complete our lap. And it is another pole for us in our career mode. And we're really flying. And look at that. 1.4 seconds up on our teammate. But heading into the race, get those revs at the right amount. 11,000 RPM. We're a little bit low. We're at 10,000. The ideal amount is 12,000. That's about the max that you can get up to. We have a bit of a moment with the rear end. Brake nice and early. Bottas tries to take a look around the outside, but we're going to be able to cover it off. A nice and easy, rich overtake. And now we just have to focus on the race ahead. Flat out into a Rouge, even if it is the first time. If you start on medium tires, you can forgive a slight lift, but you should still be able to take it flat out. The wings that we're currently running with the default that useful were 4 wings. The ideal, I believe, are 2.6, if I'm not mistaken. We get a really good run into the chicane at the end of the Camel Straight, and this is kind of how you want to take that complex. But down into, I forget what the name of this corner is. We get a decent run, but there's not really much to talk about as we just focus on just getting down every corner down to a T and just practicing. At the time of recording, and while I'm recording this as well, it's Christmas break for Valence League with the Spa GP coming up in a week's time. Well, from today, which I'm recording this, or my voice anyway, on the 27th of December. So Merry Christmas, everyone. How you all doing? But yeah. Again, I have a lot of practice at this track, having done a lot of sim runs for Valence League, and I'm feeling very confident for that, actually. So make sure you tune in for when that goes live over on Twitch, and of course when I do upload the Valence League highlights for Spa. I haven't uploaded it for Hungary, as it was just a very tilting race for myself, and I just can't bring myself around to actually editing that footage. But nonetheless, yeah. After this race, when we do go to Monza and then Singapore, we don't have any practice at those circuits, so it's going to be much more difficult for us. Especially now we're currently racing at Spa on 95 difficulty, and I'll show you that at the end of this race that we are at 95 now. So, you know, here at Spa, it's comfortable, but when we get to the likes of Monza and Singapore at 95, we are going to get beaten. Like, without a doubt, we're going to get beaten. So don't expect anything massive, as Vettel has a look into the chicane, but we break nice and late, and it's just what can you do against the OP slipstream here at Spa. And we had to try to break out that 1 second zone as quickly as possible, but we somewhat struggled to do it as we are managing our ERS and fuel mix. If you guys are planning on doing a league race or even a career mode video, whatever it is, a race here at Spa, honestly, that first lap, just if you're at the front, just use everything. Just pull out that gap, because it is so important. Because once you pull out that gap, it's going to be so difficult for them to catch back up. Whereas if you only have a small gap, they're just going to stick with you for the whole race, really, unless you are massively faster than them. So honestly, do be very careful. Vettel's within half a second of us, and it's just us three, and then a massive gap to Leclerc, Force India, and I think one of the Saubers, from what I can see. But you know, I'm not really too fussed. We know that we're slow in these 5-lap races compared to when we do 25 or 50% races. We just don't really seem to be able to turn things on straight away. And another issue I've been finding with this circuit in particular here at Spa is that on the mediums I can have really good pace compared to even, you know, the 105 AI on softs. But when I go onto softs, it's like I don't find any extra pace. There's a little bit of pace, but it's almost like it's just from the change in fuel loads. But I don't actually find any extra pace going from the mediums to softs, which is really odd as we really ride the curb through Eau Rouge. Doesn't cost us too much time. But yeah, I've been struggling a little bit here on the soft tyres. Our qualifying pace, though, weirdly feels really strong. And I'm actually hoping for a good run in Valence League because, you know, my recent races, you know, Hungary, Silverstone, Germany, it's always seemed to be that I have some kind of incident every lap in qualifying. There's just always something going on. Here at Spa, though, it just feels good. Everything feels nice. I ride the curb going into Pouhon. That's very dangerous, but we're able to get out of that alive. And yeah, Silverstone, we were just having issues coming through the loop. And then Germany, I mean, Germany's just Germany. Turn 1 was being an issue. Track limits especially. And then Hungary was, well, kind of just Hungary, to be honest. I just wasn't feeling comfortable at the circuit in general, but hopefully when I do my Valence League race here, qualifying should be spot on. But we have now pulled a nice gap to Vettel as we drop it down into second gear for the bus stop, down to first for the final corner, and now back on the power. Have a bit of a moment with that back end, but it's all good. We set a new faster lap off the race of a 1:46.6. I don't know if we'll be able to get into the 1:45s. We've got a lot of fuel left, and we're just going to keep it in richer for these final 2 laps. We've got 50% as well. So we try to take a nice sweeping run into Eau Rouge, late apex into the first part, and then just really straighten it up as you make your way over the crest. It's really steep, that corner. Hopefully one day I get to see that in real life as we really ride the curb into turns, what is that, 5 and 6? I think it's 5 and 6. But yeah, there's not much to talk about, and that really seems to be the story of, you know, the last few races, with the exception of Silverstone, I guess. Although we did have a great race at Hungary. Remember, we got damage to our front wing heading into turn 2, and we made a good race of picking up the win on the last lap against Leclerc. But once we head to Monza, honestly, swear to God, we're going to really struggle. I honestly think. I might have to go back to what I was doing when we did races at China, Azerbaijan, which was do a practice race before actually recording the race. So far, with Austria, with Silverstone, Germany, everything since Austria, I've just gone on the game and done the qualifying, done the race. And it's been easy. I haven't had to put thought towards it. I haven't had to put any practice towards it. I just take the setup. I don't even practice on the setup. Just go. And it works out really well. But Monza is going to be really tricky because all I've done is some random 5-lap races online in unranked and ranked lobbies. So yeah, it's going to be really tricky, I think, and I'm probably going to put a couple of practice laps in because we are on 95 difficulty now, and that's really going to make things a little bit trickier. That being said, though, we do have a big lead to I think it's Vettel in the championship as we have a big moment through Eau Rouge, but we're able to keep it going. But yeah, so maybe this is a chance for the AI to claw us back down in the championship. Also considering that when we do the season, our second season, so we'll just restart our career mode essentially. You know, if we're at 95 currently, we're probably going to knock it up to about 105, and we should be able to have a really good championship, I think. And yeah, because we'd be doing it on 25% or 50% races. Again, that's up to you guys, the viewers, to decide. You know, do you want to see me start things off in the F2 championship? Maybe just go straight in F1, back marker cars, front cars. It's all entirely up to you. You know, I don't know if there's an option to exclude practice sessions or not, but anyway, here at Spa, we make our way through campus nice and clean. We went green in the first sector despite that moment through Eau Rouge, so that's pretty promising. And we go purple in sector 2. We're in hot lap, which we're using absolutely everything right now. And look at the gap we've pulled to Bottas. 7 seconds. And remember, Vettel was right on us at the end of, what, lap 1? And lap 2 he was there as well, so we've pulled a massive gap, but into the bus stop for the final time. Second gear, we ride over the curb beautifully, down into first, now short shift up into third, and now really stretch out those revs, and it's going to be a 146.2. And as Jeff said, 7 wins in a row, and we're just really being dominant in the Mercedes, almost like F1 in real life. Wow. You know, this is what this career mode is all about, the realism. But look at that, over a second quicker than our teammate and a 95 gap to Seb in the championship. Yeah, not much more to say really than that. Quick final lap. There's a little bit more time in it, but I'll take that for sure. All of that being said, that's all that we do have time for in this episode. I'll just quickly show that the difficulty is at 95, and then we'll take a nicer break before we hit Monza. Do let me know any ways that you'd like me to improve this career mode, whether it's small little changes you would like me to make, you know, live commentary or not. But yeah, I hope you all had a good Christmas. There you go, 95 difficulty. But thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and until next time, stay milky, and assalamu alaikum.